What is going on, fellow vets? Brian Reese, Air Force Service Disabled Vet, the VA Claims Insider, coming at you live from Austin, Texas. And in today's video, I'm sharing everything you need to know about a compensation and pension exam, a C&P exam for tinnitus, okay, which is the ringing in your ear, which so many veterans suffer from, okay, myself included. In fact, tinnitus is not only the number one most common disability for all veterans across all demographics, it's also the number one most common VA disability claim. It's the number one most compensated disability for all veterans, period. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about tinnitus. Well, I'll explain briefly what it is. I think you already know if you're living with it, especially something called subjective tinnitus. But what we're talking about today is what you can expect at a C&P exam for tinnitus and how you can prepare for it, okay? Because again, compensation and pension exams are the number one most important day, period, in the entire VA disability claim process. Okay, now, after you filed a VA claim for tinnitus, chances are very high that you're going to get something called a compensation and pension exam. All it is, y'all, is it's a routine medical exam. Okay, it's going to be most likely conducted by an audiologist, and they're going to administer something called the audiogram, okay, which I'll get to in just a second. Now, the most common type of tinnitus is something called subjective tinnitus, okay? What that means is it's ringing in your ear, hissing, buzzing, clicking, but only you can hear it, okay? Nobody else can hear it but you. That's why it's called subjective, okay? Now, there is no test on planet Earth for subjective tinnitus. Why is that? Again, because only you can hear it. So even though at a C&P exam for tinnitus, it's very similar to the C&P exam for hearing loss, an audiologist is going to administer the audiogram, which is a hearing test, okay? They're checking for loss of hearing at various decibels and frequencies, but that doesn't test for tinnitus, okay? Especially not subjective tinnitus. Now, just a heads up, okay? The VA is proposing changes. They're out there right now on the federal docket to how it's going to review and evaluate tinnitus in the future. This is bad news for veterans because what they're doing under the new rating criteria is they're lumping tinnitus if and only if there's also underlying hearing loss. Okay, now as we know, hearing loss is really difficult to get service connected. If you're lucky enough to get it service connected, it's very difficult to get rated above 0% because the rating criteria is so severe. Now, in my opinion, this makes no sense. This change makes no logical sense because you can have tinnitus without hearing loss, okay? The two can be mutually exclusive. They're not necessarily lumped together. But yet the VA is saying under this new criteria, tinnitus will only be rated if there's associated hearing loss. Again, this is bad news for vets. What does it mean for you? Get your claim in for tinnitus right now. If you think you have it, get the 10% rating before the changes go into effect. Okay, let's talk a little bit more again about once you submit your claim for tinnitus, what happens? Why am I getting a compensation and pension exam for tinnitus? Well, there's really two reasons. The audiologist is trying to assess, number one, do you have it? Do you actually have tinnitus? Most likely subjective tinnitus that only you can hear. And if you do have it, how severe are your symptoms? And do your symptoms negatively impact your work, your life, and your social functioning? Now, generally what happens when you go to a C&P exam for tinnitus is the examiner is going to start off by reviewing some of your notes. They have access, by the way, to all of this documentation up front that you've submitted to the VA. They should ask you about your military service history, especially to include things like your noise exposure history. So let me give you an example here. Maybe you were exposed to loud aircraft engine noises on the flight line, and you didn't wear proper hearing protection. And so you believe that's the cause of your tinnitus. Okay. Well, make sure you tell the examiner that at your C&P exam. Okay. Now, by the way, that can also cause hearing loss. So the audiogram might be useful for you there to assess hearing loss. Make sure you also talk about your severity of symptoms and how it's affecting you. Now, for example, I know for me, my tinnitus at nighttime is bad and it affects my sleep. Okay. That horrible buzzing, hissing, ringing sound affects my sleep. Well, guess what, y'all? If that's you too, and you're at a compensation and pension exam for tinnitus, and the examiner asks you, describe to me what happens when you get tinnitus. What do you do? Do you go lay down? Do you try to cover your ears? Do you scream? Do you go work out? I mean, do you try to do something to numb the pain? Maybe you're drinking alcohol because it's so bad. The point is, you need to give the examiner a picture of your severity of symptoms and how your tinnitus is negatively affecting your work, your life, and your social functioning. Okay. Now, there's a number of questions you're going to get asked, most likely about your military service history, any onset. Do you have a diagnosis? Where do you think it came from? How long have you had symptoms? All those things are very common, okay, to get asked at a C&P exam for tinnitus. But then what's going to happen is the C&P examiner is required to fill out what's called a DBQ, the Disability Benefits Questionnaire, okay, for hearing loss and tinnitus. Now, the DBQ for hearing loss and tinnitus is currently for VA internal use only. Okay, there is no publicly available DBQ for hearing loss and tinnitus, but I have made it available for you to review. Okay, now if you look below in this video, go down into the description, you're going to see a link connected to VA Tinnitus C&P exam. Okay, if you click that link, if you want to go there, if you scroll to the bottom of that blog post, you're going to actually be able to download the VA DBQ form for tinnitus. Now, I think you should review it if you have any questions or concerns about what to expect at your C&P exam for either hearing loss or tinnitus. Okay, fellow vets, I hope you found this super valuable. I'm proud to say I'm getting my voice back a little bit, although I'm not 100% there. But look, y'all, again, this is what we do at VA Claims Insider. We educate and we empower fellow disabled veterans just like you to get the VA rating and compensation you deserve for serving our country. Okay. And don't ever tell yourself you don't deserve it, because I'm here to tell you, you do. Okay. I told myself for years, oh, VA disability is for, veterans who, have it much worse than I do. Okay. That is so common because we feel so guilty. Okay. Fellow vets, look, you are part of a very, very unique membership. You joined the United States military. You raised your right hand to defend freedom. You told the government that you were willing to die for this country. Okay. If you really stop and think about the magnitude of what that means and what you did, you put your life on the line to protect and defend America. Okay. These are your benefits. The VA exists for you and because of you. Okay. Now, I'm not talking about getting something you don't deserve. I'm talking about getting what you do deserve. And that's every penny. It's every service-related disability you have to at least get it service connected at 0%. Maybe you're due certain rating percentages for conditions based upon your severity of symptoms. Okay. But I'm here to tell you, it is never too late to file a claim. It's never over. You could be 100 years old and file a claim for VA disability benefits. There's no age limitations. There's no timeout periods. Okay. There's no statute of limitations that applies to when you could file. If you served our country, okay, you are most likely eligible for VA disability benefits. And it doesn't matter whether you filed or not. It doesn't matter whether you've been denied. It doesn't matter if you don't know where to start. It doesn't matter if you're doubting, if you think, well, Brian, the VA doesn't like me, or I don't have enough medical evidence. I know I don't because I didn't go to the doctor during active duty. Okay. The VA knows that, and so do we. Okay. The key now is let's help you build your case over time, because you need evidence to do that. You need medical evidence to close the gaps depending on when you left service and the claim you're filing for today. Okay, it's called continuity of symptomatology, okay, to include continuity of care. You need to be able to show that to the VA, and we can help you do that. Okay, if you are ready to increase your VA disability rating, okay, if you're ready to get unstuck and unfrustrated, if you're ready to get every penny you deserve for serving our country, we're right here waiting for you. Okay, we're right here waiting for you. You can start right now at vaclaimsinsider.com. There's a banner on the screen. Y'all, if we don't win, we don't get paid. Our terms are very simple. Okay. And our fee structure is 6 times the monthly increase, payable one time with money you don't currently have, if and only if you win. There is literally no risk to you. We've accepted the risk of success, and we have skin in the game to help take you to the next level. Fellow vets, you're going to get to chat with me as well inside of the VA Claims Insider Mastermind group. Okay, you're going to get a coach assigned to you. Our team is friggin' amazing. You're going to love your coach. Okay, I can virtually guarantee it. Okay, again, you can start right now. VAClaimsinsider.com. Can't wait to meet you. Can't wait to help you change your life. God bless you. God bless you and your family. Thank you for serving our country, and we'll talk soon.